What's up, everybody, man? Peace to the chat, man. I gotta hop back on here again, man, and talk about a subject that's kind of near and dear to me as far as molding society. And before I get into all that, let's do the YouTube thing, man. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. So I'm dual casting on my hoop jogging page and also on my CliffNotes page. So I do want to address um, a, a myriad of topics on this page. And one of the things I'm going to address is going to be things from a very wide spectrum, as it were. So I do want to drop a link. If y'all can follow me on my other page, which is Cliff Notes, which is my just more social, conscious, however, whatever you want to shake that out as page. And I'm going to put that in the link at some point so y'all can tap into that, man. Because I really want to set this out the right way, man. Um, So let's talk about it, man. The Lil Nas X thing. I don't know if y'all saw that video that he just put out, man. It's something else, man. And if yeah, what's up, Rap God? Rap God in the building, man. Loyal sub, man. Appreciate you, brother. They are puppets. Oh yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. In the entertainment game, you got a lot of people who serve a lot of different purposes, man. You understand me? So in that space, you got to understand that a lot of agendas that get pushed forward, they are via these artists who are basically the liaisons of an idea. So, like you said, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, not Lil Nas X, they push forward this sexual fluidity that you see. And then, I mean, look at the video WAP. I mean, we all saw WAP. I mean, I'm not breaking no ground with my introspection as far as that concerned, but it's funny how certain messages are allowed to be put forward and certain ones are not. And so, and I juxtapose this to keep it sports related with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is wild out, man. Let's be frank about that. Paul Pierce was wilding the hell out. However, if we're promoting sexual forthrightness, you can be who you want to be. You can do what you want to do with your body. It's funny that Paul Pierce gets fired over his Instagram live on his personal page, right? But from a standpoint of art that is put out to the public, it's funny how Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Lil Nas X are allowed to do that in that space. And I get it. They don't work for ESPN. I understand that. But what I am asserting is from a societal standpoint, it's funny what's allowed and what's okay and what's shunned upon. And I got a fundamental problem with that. And I understand it though. So it's not from a standpoint that I don't like it and I don't understand it. I do. But it's funny how some shit is propagated forward and it's not. And that's like with that concept they call Theli Mom, man, do as thou wilt. Um, that's what you see is more pervasive in this society, man. Like they promote you, well, women or homosexuals to do what you want to do. Like there's no checks and balances for that because in this space, and that's why I told you I don't support Black Lives Matter. So Black Lives Matter is a big proponent for pushing forward that sentiment. And so upstanding heterosexual males, you don't really have a space to kind of act out, as it were. And I'm okay with, like I say, if ESPN was an upstanding organization where they just did not tolerate that and they weren't a product of Disney, which they are, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like, okay, Paul Pierce, you're not being professional, you let go. But Disney also owns Viacom. And Viacom lets a lot of this shit that we see that promotes all these principles of sexual fluidity, that promotes sexual promiscuity. They are part of the same faction, so I find it rich that they are going so hard on Paul Pierce when, as a company, you are not being straightforward with your agenda. And I have a fundamental problem with that, even though I understand it. I do. So I don't want to be like I'm just, you know, blindsided by this kind of thing. I understand it, but I do feel like it needs to be said in the public spectrum. Like here, man, and y'all gotta know, man, hoop jargon, man. I'm just gonna speak my opinion, man. I'm gonna say it as it is, and will it limit my success in the long run? Maybe, but at the same time, I'm not gonna piss on your head and call it rain. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you know what's going on, and that's just the real. All right, they say we don't own anything. Everything is controlled by the so-called Zionists. Well, yeah, I mean, so that goes a lot levels deep, And Zionists, they call themselves Semites or what have you. And so, I have this discussion with a lot of my friends. I tell you, like, okay, so think of every we would call black movement. There's been someone of Jewish descent behind it every time. Think about NWA. Jerry Heller was at the vanguard of that movement. Think about Martin Luther King. A dude named Levinstein is his last name. Levinstein was at the vanguard of that movement. Let me think of another one. Y'all help me out. Another Black Lives Matter. George Soros is the bankroller of that. So we got to start getting ahead of shit, man. Like we can't always be behind the movement. We got to start understanding that the stuff that gets promoted is for a reason. Even the Black Panthers, I know this is going to trigger a lot of y'all. They have Marxism roots as well. So I'm going to put y'all on game. Anytime you see a political movement with the fist, y'all see the fist, that is for Marxism. I watched a movie called, God damn it, what's the movie called? Argo. Movie called Argo. And it's about in the late 1970s, there was a movement where there were like, they were in Iran, Americans in Iran, and they had the Iranian people basically raid the U.S. embassy. And this is a true story. They raided the U.S. embassy, and then 6 people escaped, and then 22 people were captured. So they had like a movement going on where they're trying to basically get back at the U.S. government for harboring their old leader. And the old leader, once he got cancer, he got asylum to go to the United States, right? So the protesters were wanting they wanted his head basically in short terms. So what they did was make this fake movie, to get a guy from the U.S. to pose as Canadian to go get those hostages who escaped. So during that movement, if you look at the propaganda they put out, we talking Iranians, they had the fist up, the Marxism fist. And all Marxism means is you're trying to destroy the social order. And you see that time after time after time after time after time. So anytime you see a fist, you always got to understand that means Marxism. So, all right. His mistake is there's white women. There's no. Well, it's a little deeper than that. So with the Paul Pierce situation represents as a man being a man. And so you got to understand, in this society that we have, so I know I'm going to lose a few of y'all with this. That's okay. Like Donald Trump, which I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I don't give a shit about Donald Trump. But when Donald Trump speaks like a man, it offends so many people, right? So from a standpoint, when a man or boys being boys, or however you want to label that as, that is not it's not received on positive ears. So with Paul Pierce, what he was doing, it don't matter what the race of the woman was. The fact that he's acting out being a man in a man setting, that was off-putting for society, right? So it's like Trump saying grab him by the pussy and all that shit. Because any real dudes on this live note in locker room discussions, that's how people talk. That's how people talk, man. So I get it, the average black man, you don't like Donald Trump. I understand that. Again, I ain't capable for him. I don't care about Donald Trump. But the sentiment that he represents, that's what's on attack. Masculinity, unapologetical masculinity, heterosexual masculinity, that is what's on attack. So y'all gotta understand what's going on with as far as the big picture is concerned. Professional sports are owned by Zionists. But yeah. Look at the NBA. Adam Silver, and before him, David Stern, two Jewish men. So y'all gotta understand who runs the shit that we call black entertainment. It ain't us. It ain't us, man. So I'm with that. DMX died on Lil Nas' birthday. Damn, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Now I would say this, man, and I don't want to be too much of a conspiracy theorist per se, but what I do know is prominent celebrities, they have storylines they gotta fulfill, man. So I will say that. Now, to what extent, I'm not fully sure. I'm still learning that aspect of life. But what I will say is it's always a deeper story, man. Always. Always a deeper story. And I want to say too, man, again, man, at the end of this live, follow my other page, CliffNotes. So I want to put on Hoop Jordan because I know this is my bigger page. But I do want to have more discussions like this if you brothers are attuned to listen. All right, let's see. Hoop, you heard. Yeah. So DMX passed. I knew he would. When they said last night, because, last night it came to a head talking about the family would release a statement, which to me, I knew off rip that meant that the family's going to pull the plug and they're going to denounce it. I knew that. That there's no reason why you are waiting the day to announce the death. Nothing else. Biden doing a good job. I mean, there was something. What was Joe Biden done so far? It was something he done that was not favorable to black folks. I want to see if he gonna get rid of this student loan debt like he said he's gonna do. Here's the thing. What you gotta understand about politicians is, man, they're not paid. They're not paid to do things for the normal folk. You know why? Because normal folks, you, and this is gonna be hard to take in. You're not a moving shaker. Like you don't move the needle. Now, as a whole, as a collective, yeah, we move the needle, but the people who are the money, people with the influence, those are people who earn like a million plus. You know what? You're not outside of middle class unless you make 350K and up. That is what's outside of middle class. I make six figures. I'm still considered middle class, lower middle class actually. So we got to understand that we are the proverbial have-nots of society. So we got to start understanding that these politicians do not acquiesce to us. Why is that? Because we are the most easily influenced. So let's take it back to the discussion we're talking about with Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Lil Nas X. We're the people who don't understand the big play. So with those kind of messages they put out, they affect our kids because in general, we don't get in front of those things in our families. People who make real money, who understand how society really rolls, they know not to expose their kids to that shit. Bill Gates got this famous thing where his kids don't have smartphones. So they understand that shit on the high plane. Us regular folks, we let these kind of things mold our kids' future. And that's where the problem is. We don't get in front of shit like this and understand that there is a huge attack on masculinity. And so it's unfortunate, but it's true. And we got to start getting in front of this shit, man. As men, I know most of them. I look at my demographics of who follows my channel. It's mostly men, and we gotta get in front of this and stay in front of this. And you gotta. It's almost like we gotta have a village mentality to bridge pushing forward. And I know some of you brothers, believe in the political system, and I'm not trying to sway nobody to think another way. I personally don't, but I'm not gonna disparage anybody who does. If that's what you believe, no problem. But we also gotta understand we gotta supplement that shit with us building stronger units, stronger families. So just peep game, how like WAP was received. The Congress woman, the I'm gonna reclaim my time lady, Miss Waters, I believe her name is. She was going on record to like praise Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B for WAP, talking about you help liberating women. So what is she really saying? She's promoting chaos amongst um, the black archetype. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how profound you say that song is. A regular, everyday black woman does not benefit from listening to that bullshit ass song. It does not help you. It does not help you be a wife. It does not help you be a helpmeet to a man, to have an upstanding family structure. That promotes chaos, entropy. Whereas it's a society where things are just all over the goddamn place. Lil Nas X with his video. Y'all watch the video, man. If you get a chance, I forget the name of it. But this dude twerking on the devil. It shows him in ancient Babylon, and then goes to ancient Greece, and then he's downcast into hell, and he makes out with the devil, twerking on him and shit, talking about he want to fuck the dudes who, his words, fuck the dudes he envies. So, but that's promoted as like, oh man, you go, Lil Nas X. This is the same dude did this song with Billy Ray Cyrus, and everybody thinks it's just his family song. So it's almost like the bait and switch. They baited you in with the Billy Ray Cyrus joint, and they bring you in what he's really about. Once he, promoted homosexuality, and no problem if that's your lifestyle, but we as black men got to understand that that's not the way you promote an upright family structure, and that's why we're such in discord, in my opinion. So now that Lil Nas X, he's showing you what he's really about now. And I think, he's what you will call in the craft. He's in a very high spectrum of like moving up that ladder. And I think he's going to be really, really, man, you got to keep your eyes on that dude, man. Because that video shows basically his journey of going to a prominence in the lane he's going in. So just watch the video. And I forget the name of the video. I'm sorry. I forget the name of the video. But yeah, it's just a new video he put out. And that's the thing now. So, and everybody kind of giving him kudos for it. Now, I will say this, from an art standpoint, it is a good ass video. From a message standpoint, there's no way in hell that shit should be promoted, man. There's no way. That's no way in hell, man. No way in hell, man. So, but it just shows what the society is willing to allow and what they would disavow in the same space. So I can't help but to juxtapose it with Paul Pierce wilding out, enjoying his time, as a man, having a good time, and then ESPN fires him for his extracurricular stuff. But that same company, Viacom, promotes that same shit on the other hand. So, and then you look at Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B with the, promoting the lesbianism, sexual promiscuity. And I think it's funny in the black community, man, we allow it so much and we don't check it. We don't check it, man. Like, and I don't want to get too extreme with it, but I mean, it's like shame works, man. When you tell people, hey, this is not acceptable, people generally meet expectation. But when you let things just kind of roll as a roll, again, that Aleister Crowley do as thou wilt mentality, you got a society, it's all over the place. Drop the mic. What's up, homie? What's the deal, man? Y'all subscribe to that boy, Drop the Mic, man. Man, bro, if you want to hop on here and speak, man, let me know, man. I'll add you on here, bro. But yeah, so I mean, it's like we gotta understand, man, what society is up to, man. Because it's like it's in our face, but at the same time, it's very hard to attain. It's hard to attain, man. Let's see, my boy Eugene. First HJ YouTube drop in. What's up? What's up, G? Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all, man. For real, man. So I want to let y'all know, man, with my Hoop Jargon brand, I have more expectations than just talking basketball. I'm going to talk football. Sometimes I'm going to talk soccer. But sometimes I'm going to talk about some real shit. And this real shit is why life exists. So I do want to say that. My man say he busy at the moment. No worries, man. No worries. No worries. So y'all just got to understand, man, there's a lot of stuff afoot that we got to get in front of, man. And we got to understand life as it is. We can't just be so happy-go-lucky. We just can't be in a position where we don't, us as men, upstanding men, we can't let everything affect us after the fact. We got to start getting ahead of shit. That's called having a three-dimensional mentality. So everything shouldn't hit you from around the corner. You should be able to perceive things before it happens. So as you see the social order moving, I mean, it's been going on for a minute. So you see with the Cardi B movement, how she gets the treatment and the clemency to move in a certain way. We got to understand what's going on. And again, to juxtapose to Paul Pierce, it's just funny how certain stuff can fly and certain stuff can't. Mike say facts on facts. We gotta keep it always 100. We gotta keep it 100, man. And I know my channel will be big one day. And I'm okay with detractors. I know some people are gonna have things to say counter to what I say, and I'm prepared for that, guys. I want y'all to know that, man. I'm prepared for it. It won't affect me. And all my day ones who've been rocking with AJ, trust me, man. Y'all gonna get a word to speak this stuff forward as well, man. Because what's happening is a counterculture going on. And a lot of us are so scared to check it because you get canceled. Because people are gonna, go on your social media and basically inundate what you're trying to do that is progressive. I'm not afraid of that, man. I'm not afraid of it. And I like the fact that I rock with so many people on this YouTube spectrum. They don't fuck with that either, man. And y'all support me throughout this because I mean I'll keep it all the way a beam. I'll take bullets for a lot of people. Not literally, I ain't taking a bullet for you in real life, but as far as comments and smoke in that spectrum, I'll take it for you, man, because I'm built to take it. Like I understand human nature, I really do, man. So that doesn't bother me when people get out of pocket and talk out of turn because most people they are conditioned to talk shit on the internet, right? Just like that troll I had, the racist troll. Like that's why it didn't affect me. Like once he said what he said, I expected it. Like he didn't say anything I didn't expect. And then he started, dick riding at the end, talking about, oh, you too smart. Oh, it ain't fun. Say that shit, homeboy. So I'll apply the same thing towards something like this, where it's like, listen, man, it's upstanding men. We got to understand what society's going, and we got to make sure our offspring is abreast of this because we are in charge of raising upstanding kids, man. Because when I tell people all the time, man, the fruits of our real labor is with our kids' kids. And we gotta let go of the notion that we're gonna change shit in our lifetime. And that's why protests are so prevalent. And as we see, infallibly, protests do not add to real change. Forward thinking and forward consistent action leads to change. That's why like a guy like the DuPont family has been rich for so long. That's why family like the Rothschild family has been rich for so long. That means the grandfather to the grandfather understood that if I put this money forward, my family will be rich forever. We got to start thinking on that plane. We can't think that temporary protest is going to, boom, change everything. The world has never been that way, man. And we got to start thinking levels ahead for us to get ahead, if that makes sense. The only time they give us a voice when we drown each other out on debate shows. Yeah, because they understand. So, and that's a great comment, brother. That's called weaponizing our talent. So, and you know what? Who gets the biggest victimhood of that? Our black women. Our black women in most jobs, they put you at the front desk because we have that energy in us where we can debate, you know, with a lot of confidence. So what they do to our women is they put us at the front desk at these jobs. You right? So when somebody get out of pocket, you got your security guard, your pit bull, as it were, to put somebody in their place. And usually, in a lot of cases, it's a black woman because most black women are very protective of what they buy into. And the problem is, a lot of our women aren't protective of our men in the sense of being pair bonded with one or like married or however you want to shake that out. So that's where we are struggling as a people because it's not for lack of passion, it's lack of direction. So to your point, they like to see that because they know it's in us. We need to start getting control over that shit. I call it proverbial slavery complexity. Well, you know what? It's a little deeper than that. And I tell people all the time, man, um, our history don't start as slavery, man. We act like slavery is the genesis of where we are from, what we're about. And there are black Moors who dominated Europe, man. There are indigenous blacks who were here before the freaking was the War of Seven was it, shit the British War before the damn George Washington and them came over. There were 8 presidents before George Washington, man. One of which was what would be called a black man. So we got to understand that we had prominence before all this shit. So we can't be so enraptured with the struggle of thinking slavery is the genesis of what we are, when in reality, man, it's way before that. Way before that, man. All right, Eugene says, putting ourselves in key position, then staying there is taking actionable steps towards real initiative, not fancy. Yes, and this is my overarching point. I tell brothers this shit all the time, man. Like I be on Clubhouse and shit, and it's very disappointing to be frank, man. And I know my girl, she probably sick of me talking. Like so, that's who I talk to the most, and I tell her about these ideologies I have and shit like that. I tell her, man, we gotta get out of fantasy land as men, as melanated men, black, or however you want to shake it out. Because here's the reality: we can lie about how great we are, but if we're not walking in purpose, all that shit's out the window, man. All out the window. So until we walk the walk that we talk, all that shit we talk is just is null and void. Because here's the thing: people who are in power, people who are not of the same lineage as us, they see through that shit. They don't respect it. And rather than just respecting the fact they don't respect it, what do? We complain about it. We bitch about it. And we ask for them to see things on the same level we do. And I think we can be real on this in this space. It don't work. It don't work. That's why we still are bitching about the same shit that we've been bitching about since the 60s. And before then, we still asking the same thing when all actuality is you cannot ask for respect. You walk in respect if people respect how you walking. That's how I go, man. I am somebody. Just so we gotta stop listening to these dudes who are race pimps, the race hustlers of the world. And I hate to say it, man. I like Dr. Boyce Watson, man. I think he's a good brother, but he a race hustler. You understand me? You can't listen to your Umar Johnsons of the world, man. That dude want to make money, and he's very unapologetic about it. I'm not mad about it. But this Pan-African shit, that movement, 2015 was like the genesis of the Pan-African movement. And as we see with anecdotal evidence in 2021, that shit has not led nowhere. All that, you a queen, you a king, black man, we from ancient Kemet, blah, 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 blah. That has not led to shit, right? So we got to start understanding trial and error. We learned this concept as kids. Let's start understanding truth. Let's start understanding realness. And the realness is you putting your fellow brother on the grill, understanding what it takes to get to the next level, and it's accountability. Do you know what that means? ACCOUNTABILITY. Do you know what that means? Shout out to Webby. Accountability, man. That's it. You don't have to talk yourself up in an unrealistic spectrum. You walk in truth and you follow truth and you hold you and your brother in the same sense. And what's going to happen? Our sisters going to follow. Our offspring going to follow. And that produces a strong unit overall. One of the things I tell a lot of people, man, we care so much about voting, one of the Asian population, man, strong community. And I mean, I'm not saying nothing you don't know already. Every place you go, the Asian community is strong, man. You know what they don't do? They're not big voters. They rely on their community. And us as so-called black people, we gotta start. We gotta start incorporating that more, or we just talking shit, man. And I'm not interested in shit talking. That's why that troll the other day, that shit he's saying to me don't mean nothing to me. He's just an angry white dude, upset with his life, talking shit. That means nothing to me, man. All right, real life truth, man. It just, and I'm not trying to like bloviate. I'm not trying to act like I'm better than the next man. But what I am sick of is us upstanding, what we call melanated black men, just letting shit go. And we not speaking in the affirmative. I am sick of that shit, man. Anybody who knows me in real life, I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. Because we'll sit here and act like Donald Trump is the antipathy of our forward progress, but we won't sit there and check our brother who's selling drugs, who killing their own, who gang banging. We won't check them niggas, right? We'll sit here and act like some white dude we don't know, we never saw, we can't touch, or affecting our lives, and that's bullshit. That's bullshit, man. I can't do it no more, man. I can't do it. Yeah, man, that shit is divided and negative and shit. Yeah, man, because this thing, man, one of the easiest mechanisms to divide people, they call it divide and conquer, man. When you put people in a sense of chaos and they're not in a level of cohesion, you basically stagnate a people. And that's been working on us for a long time, man. It's been working on us for a long time, and I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. So I'm not going, man. This is why we can't just get enough of black victimization. Yes, yes, yes. Slavery, hoodie sitter. Slavery is not our original story. Exactly. We live off the struggle. We no fuck like we love that shit. We love the struggle. That's why 12 Years a Slave, Color Purple, all these movies do so well because we'll talk all this shit all day on how we kings and queens descended of Cleopatra and all this shit. But when the rubber meet the road, we like to use that angle of punching up. And by punching up, I mean us trying to shame so-called white people into feeling bad for us. And you know what? That shit is old. That shit is old. You're not. We got to understand that we're never gonna get that proverbial hug we looking for. We're not gonna get that proverbial "I'm sorry." We're not getting that reparations. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people say, "Oh well, the Jewish people got the reparations after the Holocaust, but Jewish people ran the banks." So once it was cool to re-regulate things, Jewish people had the money, so they had the money to pay themselves, right? So we got to stop being goofy. We gotta stop being silly and whimsical and start getting our heads in the game, man. One of the most poignant things I've heard was a white dude. I remember I used to be like big, this is the 2015 range. I was kind of teetering on that hotep shit. And one of the white dudes like, man, get your head out your ass into the game. Nobody owes you, what do you say? Nobody owes you understanding. There was a white dude I was arguing about, like, I think the topic we were talking about was Black Wall Street out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you know what? At the time, I wasn't trying to hear it, but that motherfucker was right. Dog, nobody owes you understanding or their sympathy. Nobody owes you that because you can be 100% inerringly correct of your take on a situation. But if that person decides they do not agree with it and they are in a position to owe you sympathy, it don't fucking matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. So think of it like this. Think of a girl. So I know I got mostly brothers who follow me. Think of a girl who just got this pure heart. She's cool. She's tight. She want to be about doing for a man, but she out of shape. She's short. She's frumpy. So it don't matter how good her heart is. The dating market says, I'm not fucking with you. You understand me? So a girl who looks way better, trash personality, she'll get a cracker with before her. Because why? The world is not fair. That's not how the world works. So we got to apply the same mentality to our social struggles. Nobody owes us fairness because that's not how the world works. All right, my boy dropped the mic. Say facts, man. That is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. They promote these things to keep us distracted so we don't realize our true power. Of course. And you know what? Hoop Jargon's page is about sports. You know what else they promote? Sports. That's why the ancient Roman government used to promote like the gladiators and feeding the Christians to the lions and all that shit. That was it was called the Great Distraction. That took your mind off all the other things and you focus on the sport things. And that's the same thing that goes on today. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, that's why sports exist. And that's why everybody say, oh, why the heck do you get paid all this money? Because you're a part of Great Distraction. That's why. Struggle, man, for real. The struggle. Gucci Mane boy, struggle. Damn. The truth doesn't ask to be compromised ever. The truth just is. It don't matter who said it, who's purporting it, who co-signs it. The truth just is. Put that on a shirt. The truth just is. You don't care who tell it, man. It just is. So once we, so-called black folks, or indigenous America, whatever you want to designate, Moors, once we understand this shit, we will start to progress. If we stay in this stasis, is what it's called, of just thinking that our bleeding hearts of righteousness, as we call it, is going to take over, the reality is it's not. It's not going to take over, man. We've seen a lifetime. Well, no, fuck it. We've seen an America's lifetime of it not being so. Because most of us don't know our history past America. So I'm not even going to give us credit to talk about Kemet. Well, fuck Kemet. Kemet's the start. Talk about, Moors who dominated Europe. Talking about Moors who were in China, in Asia. Talk about indigenous Americans here. I don't even want to get to that point. Because I think our consciousness only exists with the 1800s with slavery. So we got to elevate our personal knowledge first before we get any further. Because and a lot of people would act like that's not the case, but it's real talk. We think that our history started in the 1800s. Well, we may not think it, but that's the way we talk. Because I hear a lot of shit when people talk about where we are in the world and how the world is. Well, they used to do buck breaking. They used to make the master used to rape the wives, which is all true. But our existence was before that shit, man. Our existence did not start with that shit. So when you minimalize our whole existence down to that moment, you are putting yourself in a subservient standpoint, meaning you're always going to compare your quote unquote blackness to quote unquote whiteness. And as we know in this society, you're going to be less than. So when you elevate your mind past that, then you start to understand what your lineage is past that point. So I want to challenge everybody listening, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me for 40 minutes. So y'all got to understand, man, it's so much more to learn. And let's tie it back to what we're talking about. So when you see the play going, where we have our women being all sexually perverse all over the place, we got to understand what's at play. There's a lot of people who don't look like us who control the social order of what we're doing. Again, no offense to my, LGBTQ followers and subscribers. But when you put that towards seeing how Lil Nas X has a clemency to put out the shit he putting out, and that is being regarded as leadership in our black community, you got to be able to sift that out. When you see Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion denigrating our women to just sexual objects, when they back up and say, "Oh, well, I ain't just a sexual object," because why? Most women think in a whimsical fashion. They basically think in accordance to somebody else's opinion of them, not just standing their own square. And here's the problem: us men, we're not holding up our end of the bargain, man. We're not stepping in and letting women know what time it is. Other places in the world, they don't struggle with that shit. We do, and we'll say, well, we don't believe in enslaving our women. Okay, fair enough. But other nations of the world, they don't struggle with keeping shit in order. Now, their government may not be as strong as ours, and that's true. That entertainment may not be on the level that's ours, which is true as well. But us as melanated men, we are the worst at having an upstanding society. We're the worst of raising um, offspring to push forward the legacy. We're the worst at marriage success. So we got to start being real about what we're doing, man. And we got to start shaming bad behavior instead of championing the shit. Because that's the problem, in my opinion, of why we are still in a stasis, again, stuck in one place of not moving forward because we let shit like that slide. And then we'll allow a Paul Pierce to get canceled. I mean, he was wilding, don't get me wrong. I'm not promoting what he's doing per se. I just think some shit just better left unsaid. Some shit is better left unsaid, right? So let's be real. My boy Daryl say we were kings and queens before slavery. That is a lie. No. Kings and queens were kings and queens before slavery. We were regular people before slavery. And I appreciate the sentiment, bro. I really do. There was royalty, there were kings and queens. That is true. But as a most part in any society, most of the people are regular people. They're not royalty, right? So we got to stop lying to ourselves, calling ourselves kings and queens. We got to cut that shit out. What we are is decent, upstanding people with morals. We were not royalty, bro. If you were royalty, you would still have your royalty intact to this day, because you wouldn't have got sold in the slave trade. You would still be in the home country. You would still be a descendant of that royalty. So we got to stop this myth that all of us were of royalty. That just does not make sense, bro. All right, Daryl also says Lil Nas X, Cardi, and puppets, agenda manly toward. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are puppets for sure. They are straight pawns for the big plan, which is having broken sexual fluid black households. That is the plan. Y'all gotta understand this shit, man. Y'all gotta understand this shit, because black women are the biggest consumers out here in the open market, and black women being single is the agenda, as it were. You incentivize single black women to be out here raising black men who A, are going to jail, or B, are going into the workforce. So we got to start understanding shit as it is. All right. So Rap God said the ish so-called ethical principles they possess is based on ancient people did. The ish other people's. Yeah. And what that is just basically having a disciplined, um, a disciplined, I guess not conservative, but damn, I lost the choice of words, but just a traditional style of parenting, having a nuclear household, as it were, that works. That works in society, man. But for some reason, in our community, we disavow that shit, and ugh, it's not working for us. It's not working for us. It's not working at all. So, I see. I wasn't talking about all of us saying that kings and queens and all that. Yeah, I mean it was. So, and I get what you're saying, because just like how like British people say, like, okay, whether they got a king and queen, so they feel better about themselves that is in their culture, quote unquote. But as far as a family lineage, I cringe when I see so much of us brothers and sisters say, uh, "Oh, we kings and queen. What up, queen? What up, king?" No, 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 no. If you work for somebody, you're not a goddamn king. If nobody presides under you, you're not a goddamn king. If nobody presides under you, you're not a goddamn queen. So we got to knock this shit off. Because what it is basically is calling, it's just like whimsical Disney program is what they call it. Like, so when women look for this Prince Charming and sweep them off their feet that they never meet and it never happens, that's a whimsical approach to understanding reality. So when I see king and queen used so loosely, I see it as the same thing. It's the same thing. Like let's be more cognizant of reality and let's move with reality. Let's stop using whimsical goals to solve like cogent problems that we have to take, tackle and what have you. So that's all I mean, bro. And I don't mean to be disrespectful at all. I just don't believe in us lying to ourselves just to promote ourselves from a consciousness standpoint. I just don't believe in that, man. Okay, so we've been going about 45 minutes, man. So if y'all got anything else, man, I'm happy to address it. But I just wanted to get in front of this, man. And I don't care if they only get 50 views, whatever. I just think this kind of message needs to get out, man. Because we letting a lot of shit slide. We're not getting ahead of things as what we call so-called black men. We gotta just cut the shit. We gotta cut the shit. Let's see, I'm spiritual, not religious. Same here, bro. I've taken it upon myself to study a lot. And my girl, man, she gets a little flummoxed sometimes when I tell her this shit about when I'm telling y'all. Like this is literally the discussions I have with her. And she's just a person, she don't think on that plane. She don't care. But my job is to explain shit like this to her. Because what about the day when her mind starts turning? She gotta be able to learn from somebody she respects. And I'm sure if you ask her, she respects me. So it's my job to let her know about things beforehand. And if it comes to her later in life, she'll get it and she'll have context. But what my job is not to do is just to speak idly and live in an idle fashion and everything being reactionary. Why? Because if something cataclysmic happens, I'm not ready to deal with it. And it's my job to preside over my household. And you brothers, listen to this live, and I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. Y'all got that same purpose, man. So embrace it, take care of it, and be unapologetic about doing what's right. So when you see shit like that Lil Nas X shit, you know that's no-go shit. With that WAP shit, with Cardi B and Megan Stallion, that's no-go shit. And it's up to you to teach your offspring why it's no-go shit. That leads to basically uh, a chaotic culture where it's just roundabout. It's all over the place. There's no solutions to it. So I challenge you to make sure you tell another brother, man, when the shit you see, ask him, what do you think about that? Ask that opinion. I mean, you don't have to force it on them. Just ask them, brother, what do you think about that? And if they're not in line, put them in line, man, or just in your own way, because that's how you establish a culture. That's how you establish order. Because I tell people all the time, man, as black people, we don't really have a culture like that. It's our culture is entertainment based, and that's a problem. That's why we always ask these entertainers, well, LeBron need to step up. Kevin Durant need to step up. Why they ain't speaking on this issue? We talking about Kevin Durant, 1 year college. LeBron James, no college. They supposed to speak for us as people? Really? Those people supposed to be at the vanguard of us moving forward as a people with that limited amount of and I'm not saying you only get your knowledge from college. I'm not saying that. But let's look at it. Two dudes who grew up with no fathers. That's supposed to be at the head of us moving our people forward. That's ass backwards thinking, bro. Ass backwards thinking. So let's start checking that shit. Idolatry is a European concept. Well, I would say this: ancient Kemet, they idolize Osiris, they idolize Haru, They idolize ISIS. I can't say that. People have always idolized deities that they felt were greater than themselves. So I can't just say that. We did it too. So that's a human concept, bro. So we gotta disavow idolatrizing something and not holding ourselves to a real standard. So let me say that. We made statues of these people. So they definitely idolatrize them. That's for damn sure. My boy Eugene say challenge accepted. There we go, man. As men, we hold ourselves to manly standards. And we don't act like hoes about it. And by hoes, I don't mean women per se. Hoes, I mean just no backbone, not being upstanding, not being righteous. And not righteous from a religious standpoint, just doing what makes sense, doing what's going to progress something forward. That's what I mean by righteous. So if that's all y'all got, man, that's all I got. So I appreciate this. And as much as I love talking sports, I think these things are more just as important. And I'm going to put the link to my Cliff Notes down in the comments with the after comments. So if y'all subscribe to that page, I'd be most gracious. I'm going to put it in my description for the video as well, guys. So till next time, peace, love, Afro Grease. I'm out.